Okay, hi everyone. We'll start the next talk. My talk will be community-focused today. First of all, thank you for being here. I'm super happy that you are, that you came here listening to this talk, community-focused talk today. I know some of you are among the best storage engineers on Earth, at least when it comes to distributed storage and open source infrastructure. So that's an honor for me to be here today with you all. So today's talk will be community-focused, as I said. Just some background, I will just introduce myself. I'm Frédéric Nass. I'm the Ceph ambassador for France and working at Clyso. I have 20+ operational experience with open source infrastructure, and I've been working on Ceph since 2015. Starting with a Ceph Hammer cluster. So that's the agenda. We'll go through the different topics, which are why choose Ceph? That's an interesting question. And we'll go back to 2015, considering the different workloads use cases that we had and why we had to choose a distributed storage solution and why we chose Ceph. We will then go through the next point, which will be dedicated to Ceph pioneers and key contributors. And also, we will check what the power of the community is exactly, and how you can get help, and how you can contribute to the project, whatever this is, whatever your contribution might be. So why choose Ceph? So that's back in time. We were in 2014. I was working in a university. University of Lorraine in France, and we had this new project identifying the different workloads. See, thank you, Jean-Charles. We had this project that identified 750 terabytes of data, scientific data spread across 56 laboratories. So our primary goal was to secure the data, which represented the university's scientific heritage. And so the cost of hosting this data on traditional SANs and NAS was prohibitive, so we had to look for alternatives. So we'll look into 4 different solutions, distributed storage solutions: Ceph, Scality, Cobyte, and SwiftStack. We were 4 engineers with my former colleague, notably Stéphane Dugravo, which we purchased on the hardware composed of SSDs and HDDs. I was the one evaluating Scality, and I thought it was quite a good solution. And I was convinced by Scality. Scality supported automated replication factor 3 to EC7+5. By that time, they called ARC something. It was based on object size, so that was somehow automatic tiering on the fly, which meant reduced TCO. And also, it was well regarded and appeared more mature than Ceph. By the time it appeared, and it offered support and training in French language and provided academic rates. So I was the one trying and looking for all arguments that I could to not choose Ceph. We wouldn't even have met, right, Jean-Charles? So one of those arguments was that we couldn't use Ceph with ratio coding for block device and Ceph file systems without using a cache tiering. Cache tier. So that was confirmed by Greg in the Ceph user list by that time. Also, cache tiering was challenging and providing inconsistent performance. That was reported by Nick Fisk, notably, by that time. I'm sorry if this is a bit small to read. And also, there was this video on YouTube from Sam saying cache tiering solution that doesn't work that well for RBD either. So that was another argument to probably not choose Ceph. Well. Also, you remember this, maybe, Jean-Charles? The ICE 1.2 FAQ, yeah, ink tank storage, Ceph release of, ink tank's release of Ceph. Ink tank discouraged cache tiering in production. CephFS was not production ready. It lacked the recovery tools, essentially. And if you wanted to use Ceph FS by the time, you had to have an appetite for adventure. Yeah? Okay. And there was this discussion on the Ceph user list, and Sage said many different things in its reply to some people, including Dan, being worried that the Cephfs was removed from the ICE 2.0 roadmap. So was the glass half empty or half full? Yeah, that was, Sage was mentioning GlosterFS, so yeah. There was also RBD restrictions to Linux clients, so we would have to implement our own SMB or NFS gateway on top of that. OSDs were sometimes being reported as crashing on the Ceph user list. Ceph service was also almost inexistent, non-existent in France by that time. So why did we choose Ceph? Were we crazy? No. Ceph was strongly consistent regarding the cap theorem. Yes, that's what was probably the most important thing. We never lost any data with Ceph. Sometimes we lost accessibility to the data, but never lost any data. Despite its seemingly less mature code, Ceph benefit from talented and innovative developers, enthusiastic user community, significant existing traction, and all discussions were public on YouTube, fostering participation and contributions. That's why Ceph grew rapidly and earned worldwide trust, including ours. Sage had envisioned community as a central to Ceph's success. There has been a lot of improvements. Again, sorry if this is a bit small to read. Cephfs became stable in 2016. We then had BlueStore next year. And also, Civet Web, RGW web servers was replaced by Beast. Rook came in 19. In 20, we had Ceph ADM, the orchestrator. And yeah, then NFS and different other kind of improvements. There was permanent innovation, those to name a few, like BlueStore, Ceph ADM, EC partial read writes, and VMware Fabric. Now upcoming, RGW, D4N, distributed caching, Crimson, and CStore. Thus permanent evolutions and innovation in Ceph. The stabilization and hardening of Ceph, major work in this direction, especially the one from Janzu, the Bloomberg team, regarding the RGW data consistency between zones, for example. Ceph is the primary choice for storage in OpenStack, Proxmox, Kubernetes, is by Ceph CSI, and also the Rook operator. So the project's progress and excitement have been driven by the continuous long-term work and brilliant minds within its developer and user community. So I thought maybe it was high time to acknowledge and somehow to pay tribute to those Ceph pioneers, including Sage. Starting with Sage, he discovered by the age of 8 what programming was, what coding was, thanks to his babysitter. If you download this presentation, you will click the link and get to listen to this interview that has been given to those radio guys on civicmedia.us website, the company that he created. So he created WebRing in '94, had his thesis in 2007, co-founded Inktunk, a professional service and support company for the open source Ceph, and then more recently in 22, co-founded this radio universe, Civic Media, an American radio broadcasting company based in Madison, Wisconsin. So yeah, we're going to go quickly through the different persons that really counted in the Ceph project. So Sagewile, of course, greatest of all time. Yehuda, Greg, we know their specialty, like Matt, RGW, Jason, RBD, John Spray, Cephfs, and the manager. Josh Durgin for Radar, Sam Just. Mark Nelson, I like this photo, it looks like Mr. Clean, you know, the guy with the, Dan van der Ster, architects, of course, Roster, Patrick McGarry, you remember those names. Kei Fuchai for Crimson, Orit Wasserman for RGW and VMware Fabric. Patrick Donnelly, Cephs, Venk Shankar Ceph as well. Yuri Weinstein, building and testing. Kyle Bader, architect. Jeff Layton, yeah. Mike Christie, the SCSI part, kernel, now working for Oracle. Alex Marangon, French guy for operations. Just left DigitalOcean, if I'm heard right. Eric and Casey, top-notch guys for RGW. Joao, now my new colleague at Clyso. Radek, Igor and Adam, the Bluestore guys. Chier Rados, Jean-Charles Lopez, ops and training, is that correct? Yeah. Hoai Wong, Async Messenger. Ernesto Puerta, dashboard. John Mulligan, SMB. Some things might be wrong here, hopefully not that much, but. Paul Kuzner, metrics, FADM, tooling, Ceph Ansible playbooks, I think also. Nea for Rados, Yarit for telemetry, Laura for Rados as well. Adam Emerson, RGW, Federico, Ronan Friedman, yeah. And Karen Singh, Travis Nielsen, Sebastian Wagner for CephADM, Orchestrator. He really eased the process and administration of Ceph clusters for every operators all around the world, thanks to the operators, the CephADM and the orchestrator. Adam King, Guillaume Abriou for Ceph Volume, Loic Dashari, Dan Mick, Deepika Upadhyay, you know those people, right? Noah Watkins, Rook, Shubuli, CephFS, Ilya Durumov, RBD and Rados, Redwan, architect, David Zafman, architect, Mikko Lagolub, who's now working at Clyso as well, for RBD, is a super troubleshooter machine, super guy. Matan Bresman, Crimson, Tamil for Ceph Ansible, Ken Dreyup, packaging, Miu Wong Ho, C-Store, Sage, security, Xuan Chu, Crimson, Tyler Brecker, architect, Danny Algaff, Zach Dover, documentation, Shrida for mClock, Lance Grimmer for the dashboard, Neil Levin, roadmap and advocate, Brad Hubbard, Rados, Marcel Lahoff, metrics and tracing, who's now having a talk in another room, John Wilkins for the documentation, Sebastian for the Ceph Ansible and Rook, now Rook. Artem, Rook, Afrin for the dashboard, Yingxing Cheng, C-Store, David Orman, architect, Joseph, architect, Vikyat, Rados, and Ops, you know those guys, probably if you've been using Red Hat Ceph Storage, for example, in the past. Yuval Lifshitz for the RGW LUS script using different storage classes that can send objects to different pools in Ceph. He's the one that's been coding this. Sheldon Mustard, this is somehow the tangled photo of the cartoon, I don't know. Niels DeVos, Ceph CSI. Cameltat, who's been coding the stretch cluster mode with two data centers to availability zones, for example. Valerie, NVMe Fabric, Aviv Caro, NVMe Fabric. Bill Scales, next generation coding. Michael Hackett, who's around global support tech lead at IBM. Mike Burkhardt, NVMe Fabric, and to end it up with those Ceph pioneers and key contributors. Anthony Datry for the documentation, Daniel Parkes for the architectures. Hey. Sorry, architect, software architect. You can read Daniel's tutorials on the IBM or Ceph community website. They're super interesting. And Abhishek Lakshman, who's working at CERN, RGW and release notes. So yeah, those Ceph pioneers have been there for a really long time, and others just came after that. But were also recognized as top contributors, key contributors to the Ceph project. So I've been asking them to share their stories, if they could, and some of them, including, you, Jean-Charles, shared their stories with me, and I will soon be releasing those stories on Ceph.io website, so that we get to know exactly why they chose Ceph, why they've been working on Ceph, what was amazing doing so, what were the challenges, what they expect for the future in Ceph. So hopefully I'll get the chance to release maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks if I get the time to do so. And this will be super interesting to everyone, including them, to know what experience everyone made at the same time. Sometimes they might not have been working exactly all together, but they might for sure enjoy reading this as well. So yeah, the power of the community. There's this Ceph Executive Council, Nia, Dan, and Josh. You know them, and the different top guys I see as well working for the Ceph Foundation. Eugene Block, that might be the first photo you see. I'm sure everyone knows Eugene, right? Is probably the top contributor in the Ceph user list, helping everyone asking for help in the Ceph user list. It's hard to get the ability to help people before he replies with the right answer in the Ceph user list. So yeah, thank you, Eugene, for the photo. Anthony Datry, and sometimes me helping also users in the Ceph user list. And many more. Like, if you see those guys answering any trouble, any problem in the Ceph user list, then most probably, highly likely, you can believe what they're saying and what they write. Yeah. So we've had some different examples in the community with community-driven features and documentation improvements. For example, based on Ceph users' mailing list discussions, there has been different improvements for the documentation, for example. And also, we had some power users sessions back at CERN in 24, which led to different improvements in Ceph that Laura has mentioned yesterday, and like, for example, those that appear there. That's me wanting to thank Jane Zhu for the amazing work of her team and the guys at Bloomberg, the team at Bloomberg, when it comes to RGW, multi-site replication issues and inconsistencies. Her work has been amazing last year to improve Ceph, and everyone that will be using RGW in the next years will benefit from her work and the work that the Bloomberg team did last year and over the past years. So if you want to know, if you want to have a proof of her amazing troubleshooter skills, just read this tracker over there. Grab some popcorn because it's long a bit, but yeah, it's fun to read. We also have the Ceph Ambassador program that you can, so you can eventually join. You can reach out to any of us whenever you want, discuss Ceph and other things, and eventually join the program as a Ceph ambassador. If you don't see any ambassador in your country and you're using Ceph and you love Ceph, then you could become one of us. Don't hesitate to contact us to do so, especially Gaurav, which is the one in the middle on top. He's the responsible for the Ceph Ambassador program. So this year we also have a new community manager, which is Anthony Middleton, super guy. It's really nice. If you get to the chance to discuss with him, you will understand. So I have 10 minutes. Okay. So the next topic is how you can get help, and the last one will be how you can help and contribute to the Ceph project. So we have different tools at your disposal if you want to get help. You can search the Ceph users mailing list, archives for issues that probably have also already received an answer. That would be the first thing to try if you're in trouble with whatever you do with Ceph. And you could also search the documentation, of course, search the Ceph tracker for any bugs, and check in which release of Ceph it was fixed. Search the GitHub repository to know how things work. And for example, the Clyso, we had a customer that had an issue at the beginning of this month. It had some, bug thing, assertion. And we've been, like, for example, this is how you would eventually discover, troubleshoot the thing. You could search this in the lists archives. And if you don't find anything, you could have a look into the tracker. And like, for example, search in the Ceph tracker for those words, assertion thing was actually effective. So you could then look for the PRs and the pull request, identifying which one is corresponding to the Ceph release that you're using. And so find the pull request number, and then open the release notes of the version that you use. Push CTRL-F, search down the page for this number, and scroll up and identify in which version the bug that you're encountering has been fixed. That's how you could get help by yourself somehow. So we also have the Slack for live discussions. There's a generic channel which is Ceph, and there are also specific devel channels, CFS, CFADM, just to name a few, where everyone can discuss with the developers. And also we have the Ceph users list, where you can discuss with power users and also developers. So how you can contribute? Well, contributing is not just coding, right? You can contribute in many different ways. There's the Ceph project open source development guide. There's also, I found this recently, there's also a Sage tutorial that Sage made on YouTube to help you get started with coding. There's a community calendar that you can open and subscribe to get to know when discussions between the devs happen and when the discussions between the power users and the devs, well, the users and the devs happen. And yes, there's the Ceph Ambassador program. We also, have the different resources, GitHub issues, the tracker, Redmine, the mailing list, Slack channel, YouTube. And also, if you can contribute, you can financially, you can join the Ceph Foundation, the 16 plus orgs that support Ceph financially. That's it. So thank you, and please, if you did not already, join our community. Thank you, everyone.